part two of our live show on a Thursday. We'll look right across the sporting scene with James Gregg shortly, but we're almost doing without him this evening because we've got rugby league, we've got football via Sheffield Wednesday and more of the monster trucks, and we've also got futsal for those who don't know anything about it. We talked to Ollie in part one, and we've got Thomas Umsadala in part two. Yeah. And I've got your name right.
I know, to be honest, actually, that's pretty good.
Is it? I bet
some of my teammates still can't say that, to be honest.
What do they call you instead?
Thomas.
Oh, Thomas,
that's it. Oh, Tommy.
That's very polite.
Yeah, don't want to say Umsadala, get it wrong.
You're from Leeds, aren't you?
Yeah, grew up in Leeds, yeah.
Leeds United supporter?
No, second team actually.
What's your first?
Arsenal.
Oh, that's all right. My father, yeah, my father was an Arsenal supporter, and so I kind of adopted. But it's the first time I've even admitted that. I never said anything about it in 1993. That's for sure. Liam Claffey as well from Sheffield Eagles are having a great time now. Do you think that at any point Mark Aston and co thought this ain't going to work here in Sheffield? We're finishing, because you had all the problem about finding a ground, the finance for the ground, the support from the city. Was there ever a defining moment where it looked like, forget it, it's not going to happen?
Yeah, there's still some days where you think that when we have difficulties and that, and you think, is this worth doing? But then you see the supporters and you see our support base, and they're the ones we do it for. When back in the 90s the club merged with Huddersfield, and then Mark used to get stopped on the street and say, what's happening, and then they held a meeting at Darnell and over 1,000 people showed up saying, we want rugby league to carry on in the city. Then you know there's something there worth doing. And then you look at the community clubs like Sheffield Hawks, there's 100 plus kids there on a Tuesday night training. You know there is a base for rugby league in the city. It's, like I say, it's tough and there's lots to fight against, but we keep going.
That's going to really take hold when you're producing players from the community, do you think?
Yeah, it will. I mean, we had a decent youth setup some years ago with an under-16s and under-18s, of reserves, and then we had a joint team with Sheffield Hallam as well, which was great, and then that all basically got taken away from us by the governing body, which was a shame, so we're now just running the first team, but we're keen to develop that again. We've just been awarded the World Cup in the city in 2021, so part of that is developing the sport again. Part of our bid. So
matches are going to be played at Bramall Lane.
Yeah, we've got an England group game at Bramall Lane, which is great, and our aim is to sell it out. We're working with the council and United and SIV, and our bid was to sell out Bramall Lane for that World Cup game, and we're confident we'll do that. And we've got 2 semi-finals of the wheelchair at EIS as well, which will be great. So no, that'll be a big spring bill for us going forward as well in 2021.
You'd have thought if there was a moment that was going to really establish the sport in the city, it would have been amid that famous Challenge Cup win. John Keir, I can't remember the year, but
well, John's back tomorrow night coaching Bradford, so John's back down in the city tomorrow night. But yeah, there was beating Wigan at Wembley in '98, and Mark getting man of the match was obviously the biggest moment in the club's history. And then it just never took off. Obviously, the merger with Huddersfield happened a year later, and the club nearly went into administration things, so it was difficult, but there is still life in Sheffield Eagles, and we'll always keep going. Yeah,
excellent. I'm going to go to the War of the Monster Trucks fanzine and give you a glimpse of a couple of hilarious front and back pages that are going to appear, and we'll do that shortly. Thomas, you know, you play at the EIS, correct?
Yeah, EIS.
And also Concord, I think.
Yeah, so we haven't played at Concord for a while, but most of our games in the last 2 years has been at EIS.
Right.
Yeah, but we train close to here, at Pons Forge, so yeah.
And you do some coaching as well with it?
Yeah, I help out with the coaching because I've been playing for a while now, so you'd think I'll know one or two things.
How long then have you been playing?
I've been playing futsal for, this is my 8th year now. So
8th?
Yeah, 8th year. So since first year of university, after leaving university, continued playing. So
do you play the traditional outdoor game as well?
Not as much. I used to quite a lot, but now it's kind of hard to mix the two really, because I find it a bit harder. I think it's different type of fitness. with foot, so it's more like short burst, I suppose, as well. So when I stand on a big football pitch, I'm like, wow, this is massive.
Yeah.
I don't want to be running down up that wing. I'm like, no. But yeah, it's good though. It's fun.
Is there ever going to be a move to make this more sort of spectator-worthy in terms of the facilities, or is it at the highest level?
To be honest, I think they are trying to do that, like with the FA as well. They are working on trying to actually get that done. So it is developing. So like getting the schools a bit more involved as well, I suppose. Maybe changing the structure of the league as well to help build that. So yeah, they are trying. Well, hopefully in the future. Yeah.
Okay, you play in the FA National League Division 1 North. So you're actually in the second tier, which is pretty high up.
Yeah. We got relegated a couple of years back, so still trying to, develop.
Did the manager survive that relegation?
No.
He was sacked, was he?
No, I wouldn't say sacked, but he moved on.
He moved on.
I suppose.
So the fellow that's behind the cameras here now watching you, Carl Woodrow, he wasn't manager then?
No, he wasn't. To be honest, he's done quite a lot of work to actually get the club to where it is at the moment. So give a lot of credit to Carl. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good luck to you, and thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about it, Thomas and Ollie, and as if by magic, very shortly, James Gregg will be sitting in your seat. But Tom, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much for
coming in. Really good to talk to you. We'll wait for James to come and join the fun when we show them these covers of the fanzine. Just while we're sort of doing that, and James comes in, let me pass on a message on behalf of Matt Brown, who does a lot of social media on Sheffield Wednesday, and actually writes some really, really good blogs on the club at times. And it strikes me, just before I relay the message from him, it strikes me that a few of us, quite a lot of us actually, those of us in the media, like myself, people at the Sheffield Star, like Dom, Matt certainly, and I know yourself, have been banging on about one thing consistently where Sheffield Wednesday is concerned, haven't we, for some time, that we feel that the football professional at the club should have a handle on movement in and out in terms of the transfers. And with Steve Bruce's appointment, it's happened.
It just seemed to me that we either needed to have a director of football model, or we needed a traditional manager that was controlling it, and we seemed to be in a place that was neither one nor the other, to be honest. And since the playoff final in 2016, I think that's told in terms of the recruitment. So we've ended up with a squad which is getting, a lot of it is getting at the back end of its career. They're well paid.
Too many of them.
And injury suspects, quite a few of them. And that's added to the kind of FFP, profit and sustainability issues. And so a lot of that needs unwinding now, and it's going to take, as you say, 2 or 3 transfer windows to try and make that happen. But at least it sounds like Steve Bruce has made it absolutely clear that he wants control.
I'm pretty sure that he laid that out before he came in as probably a condition of the job. And you'd expect a traditional manager to do that. And he himself has said quite categorically that he has control of it, and quite rightly, because if you're going to have to fall on your sword, you want it to be your own sword, don't you, ideally? And that you've made those mistakes. Just a message from Matt that this is also for the same cause that you're collecting for with the fanzine. This is for Macmillan. There's a 16-year-old Sheffield Wednesday supporter called Will Hunter, who in his own initiative has got together a charity game that's going to take place a week tomorrow, Friday the 22nd of February at Maltby Main football ground, and all proceeds are going to Macmillan. Those of you who can support Will Hunter, he's on Twitter apparently, at William SWFC1, and he's also got a GoFundMe page as well, so that's a worthy cause indeed.
It is,
What are you up to then, sir?
What am I up to? Well, I'm here. I'm present. We've done the magic swap, haven't we? Ready to go. There's plenty going on, Alan.
There's
Do you want me to rattle through some of it?
Yeah, rattle through some of it.
Yeah, it was at Bramall Lane last night. See Sheffield United grind out a 1-0 win. Very important victory, I think,
me too.
particularly after the 3-3 draw down at Villa last Friday. Of course, 3 goals in the last 8 or 10 minutes, and it was just a bit of a sucker punch really for United. But the way that they bounced back last night, 4 points from those 2 games, all of a sudden doesn't look too bad. I think they can now move on from it, can't they?
Yeah, I think a very important victory in the circumstances for that reason. It's a bit of a freak what happened at Villa. In some ways it probably helps that you know the reason. It's not as if you're kind of scratching your head afterwards saying, how did that happen? The goalkeeper could tell you how it happened, and so could one of the defenders.
Absolutely.
You know, so it was easy to identify. But I thought the manager set a tone. He was refusing to be downbeat by it, wasn't he? Inside, he must have been.
He must have been pig sick.
He must have been dead inside.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he managed to. I got a bit of stick on social media for saying he jogged defiantly off. You can imagine where that was coming from.
Yeah.
But he did, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
And he somehow maintained an atmosphere of, you know, upbeat, rather than letting it go downbeat.
Absolutely, I think he obviously had full eyes on last night's match, which of course they won 1-0, and Reading are the opponents at Bramall Lane again on Saturday afternoon. Wednesday, big weekend for them as well, because even though Rotherham slipped into the relegation places last night, South Yorkshire derby at the New York Stadium, 1 PM on Saturday. Big game for the Owls, that, isn't it? And Steve Bruce is not just him, but also his players will be really wanting to make a mark under the new manager, won't they? And score some goals as well, I think, Alan.
That's right. I mean, they've 3 clean sheets back to back, but only 1 goal scored. And talking to Steve earlier, we're not entirely surprised by that, because it's been a theme all season, really, isn't it? A difficulty of scoring, despite the apparent riches up front. And I think perhaps what it tells you is not so much a reflection on the front players as the midfield and a lack of thrust down the flanks and creativity. Do you think?
And pace.
Yeah.
We just don't move the ball and move players fast enough at times. Really, they were. I mean, I didn't get down to Millwall the other night, but I kind of watched the second half on TV. You could see they played much better second half than they did first. But there were times when they turned the ball over and they won the ball back in midfield, and it needed one pass. To kind of get forward, try and get in behind, but we just too slow and allowed teams to get behind the ball, and then it's kind of, it peters out, really.
Athleticism, lack of pace, too many injuries, all of these things, and a squad that hasn't changed. I mean, football doesn't stand still, does it? No. You know, and the squad of 2 years ago, fine, you can't let it just add numbers.
But on the plus side for Sheffield Wednesday, you know, you look at Tony Pulis' side, and they've got a very good defensive record. You know, that's why it was so pleasing for United to get that result last night. But you know, you can sort of just limit the goals and nick the odd game. You know, look at Borough. You know, they're flying, aren't they? You know, they're sort of in and around the mix. So it's you know, it can be done that way. But I think
it can be. He's a manager to be admired, Tony Pulis. Much as he gets plenty of stick for, you know, the way he plays at times. He's quite a pragmatist, and Middlesbrough's a hard club to manage from that point of view, because Aitor Karanka got the promotion in quite a pragmatic fashion, and that didn't add to his popularity or secure his popularity there. So they're wanting both. Although I did think that I thought he was using deflection technique last night by complaining about the goal.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, those of us who watched it real time, it was never even a question. Stearman was just determined to get on the end of that, and you want players to do that. Not sure there was a foul.
No, not sure it was. Not sure it was.
I know you'd say that. I'm looking at an L. I'm looking at a Wednesday fan. And I'm trying
His reaction will be far more telling than mine.
I'm trying to get him to agree.
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
He's just doing a boycott.
That's good. Jeffrey Boycott, eat your heart out. I'll tell you what, it was remarkable though last weekend. You pointed out on Twitter as well, Alan, that there were wins for our non-league sides, who we, you know, give the odd mention to here and there on this programme. The wins for Sheffield FC, Hallam FC, Penistone Church and Worksop. Penistone Church actually won 8-0. Hat-trick from Nathan Kitely in that one as well. And big win for Hallam last night away at AFC Emley, a tough place to go in the League Cup, and they won 1-0, so they're into the 5th round of that competition now. So well done to Hallam. And big game for Hallam this weekend at Sandygate. They've got Ryan Hindley's Rossington main side visiting Sandygate. Yeah. So that could be quite a tasty one.
It certainly could. If I wasn't at Bramall Lane working for TalkSport, I think
any Sheffield Wednesday fans who may be watching, you know, you might be back from the New York Stadium or back from the pub, and it might be a bit of a loose end. Get yourself up to Sandygate, because it'll be a feisty encounter, that one. I know, having spoken to a couple of the players from either side and spoken to Ryan, I think everybody concerned is up for that game, because they know what.
There'll be plenty of Mickey taking, for want of a better expression, going on.
I think so, yeah, a bit of sledging.
It should be quite entertaining off the field.
It should be, it should be. Sheffield United ladies, they've got Villa in the Women's FA Cup. It's away from home this Sunday. The Sheffield Sharks.
Good win last weekend, wasn't it?
It was good week, very good win for Carlo. They're certainly holding their own you know, in that league.
That's good to see.
So if they can get past Villa in the FA Cup, that'd be great stuff for them. Sheffield Sharks, they've lost 4 in a row now, but they've had 2 weeks off. So they play Surrey Scorchers on Sunday afternoon. Hopefully they can get back to winning ways. Whilst in ice hockey, the Sheffield Steelers, well, winning ways, I think, is just not going to arrive this season, frankly. They're hanging on to 7th spot. Of course, only the top 8 get playoffs in that English ice hockey league. They've got Coventry Blaze on Saturday, but the Panthers on Sunday, both away from home. Big weekend for them. And of course, they are looking for a new coach to succeed Tom Barrasso as well, who's handed in his, well, he's sort of he's basically said, I might sign on for another year, but I'm waiting for another job, maybe in Russia or Germany. And they said, well, we can't plan for that. So they're looking for a new coach, unless he then commits his future. So we'll keep you updated with that on the programme, as well as all the Steelers results. And also, just want to touch on, before we come on to the Eagles, a big fight boxing match. It doesn't involve Kell Brook, of course, who's sort of been the main headline act, really, from Sheffield and the boxing scene over the last sort of 5 or 10 years, really. But it's Kid Galahad, also trains at the Ingle Gym on Winkerbank, has trained there all of his career as well, trained by Dominic Ingle, and he's got a massive fight with Josh Warrington penciled in, who's the IBF World Featherweight Champion, and that's going to be in Yorkshire somewhere, sometime in April, but that fight has been announced, and it's already got a bit of needle to it as well. You look on social media and it's all flying around, all the verbals already. Very good indeed, so that'll be great stuff. Hopefully we can get someone in from the Ingle Gym as well to try and preview that fight near the time.
Dom's been in a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'd love to have Dominic in again as well. Maybe he can bring his guitar with him this time. He loves his guitar, does Dom.
I like that.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, we'll get him in. We'll get him in.
I'll tell you what, we could get Dom in with his guitar. We could get John McClure.
Yeah,
the Rev.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. He's been having a rant on Twitter this week.
And Paul Pashley, the singer.
That'd be great. I'll stand and watch, honestly. I'm more than happy to do that.
Pete McKee with his ukulele.
We need a bigger studio, plumbing heck. You know, I know it looks like quite big behind here, but it's not.
It's not. And Ryan Hindley to do his impressions.
Yeah. That'd be good.
This could work.
Hey, we could charge for that, Alan, couldn't we?
This could work.
It could.
Who's going to charge? Do you think anybody would want to pay to watch it?
I would. You could charge me.
Me too. I don't think I'll sit here. In fact, can I have a glass? Can I have some water, please? A mouse drying.
Of course, Alan Biggs or Alan Partridge.
Right.
Eat your heart out. Well, we'll just finish off the Eagles, because the Eagles, I know you've already touched on it, great start to the season. You've already mentioned John Keir as well, coming back with his Bradford Bulls side. That's a big game, but one you can probably feel like you can win.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark believes we can win it. We set out at the start of the season to win 2 out of the first 3. He's already won his first 2, but this is a massive game for us. And like I say, we'll go top probably. Either side will go top very shortly. If we win it, Toronto, who's in our division, against Widnes, they play tomorrow, and they're both undefeated as well. So it's a big game for us. We had a very comprehensive win against Swinton, and then we toughed it out against Barrow. So I think this game will be a mixture of both.
Great wins. And just quickly as well, you know, Toronto, talk to me about them, because they're just such a force, aren't they, in that league? How good are they in that league? Because obviously we got in the playoffs, didn't they, last season?
Yeah, I think one of their players is probably on more than one of our entire squad put together.
Wow. Right. Okay.
So it's tough up to go against the full-time squad. Right. It was great to go over there last year. It's a difficult place to go, over to Toronto. We got a bit of a hammering over there in the 32-degree heat in the middle of summer, but it was an experience. We're not going over there this time. We're going down to London to play them because of the weather. Right. It'd still be snowing over there, but they're a force, and I think it'd be between them and Toulouse, the French side, to go up to the Super League this year.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
stuff.
Right. By the way, you mentioned Penistone Church. I've secured the Penistone Church manager
brilliant.
for a forthcoming show.
That'd be great.
I forget exactly when, because we're not doing one live next week, by the way. In fact, I think this is going to be repeated. So if
Okay.
you missed it, it'll be on next week.
Tune in again,
as
you
well
can
as
see it
on
all
my
again.
YouTube channel this evening. Right, okay, so Steve has brought in, last time you came in, it was back from the printers.
Yeah.
And you had a really good response to the previous one, hence you've done another one. All proceeds to the Macmillan
This
appeal.
time, yeah.
Okay.
Children's Hospital last time.
So there's a back page here. I'm not sure whether you can read that. It's the end of the European era. There we are. End of the European era. It's two very familiar faces on there. I'll tell you what, I'll try and do Carlos and you can do Steve Bruce. All right?
No, pull my neck, Alan. All right, okay.
I'm not sure I can do Steve Bruce. I'm sure I can do Carlos. Carlos is saying, their bodies are temples. Get the right mix of fish, rice and peas.
And Steve Bruce says,
saying,
I'm a meat and potato pie man myself, with a dollop of Hendors, of course. That's what he says. That's my really bad Steve. That's somebody who isn't Steve Bruce.
That's not too bad.
I'll take it.
Right.
It's just
Not
a
too bad,
generic
right.
northeast man, I think, that one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Jamie, don't ask me to.
Failed the audition. Right, and the front. There we are. So, as you've got a guy in full kit there, who looks very much like
Barry Bannon.
Yes, he does look like Barry Bannon. And what's Barry Bannon say? Can you do Barry Bannon?
Well, he's Scottish, isn't he? He's a Scottish man.
Here we go.
You should get some of these at the mate. You might win some headers then. Very good. Yeah.
Do you want me to translate?
Yeah.
You should get some of these on Atty Mate. You might win some headers then. So there we are.
Very good.
Okay. It's always irreverent. It's always having a little dig, but it's always with a little smile on your face. And
Yeah.
have you ever had, as opposed to the bile that we see on social media and the vitriol, this is gentle, have you ever, though, had any of the targets of these complaining players or, at any time?
We haven't. No, we haven't. No. I remember in the last fanzine, Graham Lightfoot, who used to do spitting feathers, had a big grumble from Jim Majilt that I remember at one point. Yeah, when he kind of just had a slight dig at him and Jim Majilt and ended up planting some story in the Daily Mirror, I think it was, saying that there was a campaign to oust him at Hillsborough and there'd just be kind of one little dig at him in spitting feathers, and he kind of...
Right.
So we haven't, no, probably expecting something from Barry Bannon.
Or Atty, I think.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah, it's possible, but I think generally people, it's a bit like Pete McKee's work, that has a little poke, but in a very amusing way.
It's good though, isn't it? It's good. You've never had any. I mean, the thing is, it's attached to your column, Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't do it all the time now. It's always great when he's done, but it is attached to my column, and I always think it adds to it. There was one player once who did, who shall remain nameless, actually quite a good friend of mine, so I'll spare him. But there was one player once who it didn't like.
Right.
Didn't like the way it was portrayed, shall we say?
Oh, right.
But that blew over. I said, nothing to do with me, mate. I don't select the cartoon. When he does it, Pete comes up with it, and it was very funny.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
People wanting to go tomorrow night to watch the Eagles. How can they go? I'm guessing there's tickets left.
Yeah, there is.
A few.
Yeah, tickets still available. Head to our website, sheffieldleagles.com. You can buy tickets online, e-tickets. In advance, they're cheap in advance, but then we'll have a limited number on the day as well tomorrow. So, yeah, it's always kids for £1. So in advance, get your kids down there, watch some rugby league action tomorrow night.
Top stuff as well. Top rugby league, let you know at the moment.
Absolutely. Sheffield Eagles against Bradford Bulls.
Yes.
Big major attraction in the city, and let's get behind the Eagles for the future. It's been great to hear from the general manager. Sorry, on Twitter I promoted you to chief executive. The general manager, Liam Claffey, Steve Wormsley as ever, the guys who came from Sheffield Futsal, James, and to you for watching. If you missed it, it's on my YouTube later. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.